Hello crafty friends, this is the Paper Chef here. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make this sweet card using the Brother ScanNCut. The designer series paper that we'll be using for this tutorial is by Stampin Up, and it's in our occasions catalog. That means our spring catalog, 2019. Okay, I'm going to show you the page it's on. Okay, page 15. Many of you have the catalog that I sent you in the mail. If you'd like to request one or just get a copy of the PDF, I will have the request form and the link to the PDF of this awesome catalog in the description of this video. But here are just all the great things that go along with the suite. So this is what we're using right here. Let me zoom in. How sweet it is, designer series paper. Now I've already done tutorials using your Brother ScanNCut on how to cut out this pattern paper using your Brother ScanNCut. And just as a review, here are the different papers that come in this pack. There's 12 sheets. All the paper is double-sided, see? So I'm just going to flip through and show you the paper. Just incredible. So I've already made gummy bear treats. I've already made loads and loads of cards. We talked about stamping, cutting out the embellishments. Okay, so then what we're going to do today is we're going to use the universal pen holder. And we're going to cut out this, we're going to create and cut out the sentiment and an extra little border around that. Okay, and then I'm going to use the embellishments I already cut out in prior tutorials because I have a whole bag of them already. And we're going to decorate the cards using just some dimensionals and adhesive. Okay, I've already created the card bases to save time. I've already created the embellishments to save time. So what we need to do is we're going to write out these sentiments using the drawing tools, the drawing feature in Brother ScanNCut, and then we're going to color it in with another marker, and then we're going to embellish our cards. Okay, without further suspense, here is the universal pen holder. Okay, and it says universal, but you know it doesn't hold everything, and you have to do some tweaking to get it to hold certain kinds of pens. Now, when you look inside, you'll see that it's open, meaning there's no little grips. So I'm going to just show you now when I put if you load a pen and then you were to put the little grips in, see how the grips just, there you go. I'm going to get the right angle. They just grab the pen. Okay, so we need to keep it open when you're loading the pen. In other words, keep it open, and then when you're going to load the pen, and then you're going to close it to get it to grip shut. All right, so your universal pen holder comes with two pieces. Okay, so this is only needed for loading your pen. I have my camera at this angle today to show you this from a little bit farther away. So first thing is you put this in the holder. It just slips right in there. The arrows, see, these two arrows go next to the bigger arrows. Okay, let me focus that so you can see. Okay, now this arrow goes next to that arrow, this arrow goes next to that arrow. Then you put a little piece of paper down here, and that's not only to protect this little base, but it's also to show what medium you're going to be using. So like for instance, I'm using Whisper White cardstock, so you just put the little scrap of Whisper White underneath there. Okay, you just put that, just load it right inside there, and that's when your pen touches that, you'll know it's low enough. Okay, so I'm going to take now I'm using the thicker portion of my Stampin' Right marker. Okay, and this is called Coastal Cabana. So I'm going to take, there's a thick side and a thin side of every one of our markers. Taking that off, I am loading it. It doesn't matter which way, I mean, it's all the same. I'm loading it into my universal pen holder, okay? And I could just drop it in, but it won't really sink because it's the perfect size. It's almost like, hey, brother, did you make this universal pen holder for my Stampin' Right markers? I think you did. So it's the perfect size, so I can just kind of tap it down, okay? And I know it's far enough when it touches that paper, see? And I even got a little dot of ink on the paper. And now I can do what I was showing you with those grips. So now I can raise this a little bit. I can raise that and turn it, and then it sort of just has a little spring so it lowers. When I take this out of the holder and I shake it, and it's not wonky, you can see that it's not wonky, meaning it's not wobbly, I loaded it correctly. Okay, I'm going to lay that down. I'm going to move this out of the way. So what we're going to do is we're going to write onto Whisper White cardstock to get these sentiments. I'm going to bring my ScanNCut closer. I'm going to just show you how to load this, and then I'll show you the screen. Okay, so we're loading it. we're going to open up the Brother ScanNCut, and we're going to take out the blade holder, okay? We're taking out the blade holder, and now I'm inserting the universal pen holder. Okay, this is an extra accessory. I'll have a link to it in the description. This isn't like something that came with the Brother ScanNCut. You have to buy this. It's not very expensive. Okay, I'm just pushing a little bit, so it's in there, the good. The word brother is still facing me, and I clip it down. Okay, that works. Now, we're gonna go to this part, which you're used to. We're gonna turn the camera, and you're gonna see the screen of my Brother ScanNCut. So, we need to load our paper, and like I said, I'm using Whisper White cardstock, so I'm just putting a little piece of it up here in the top. My mat's pretty sticky. I'll just load the mat. Holding my hand there and pressing this button to load. Oops, it's a little crooked. I better push it a little harder. Okay, it loaded correctly. Now, we're gonna use a built-in pattern. I thought this was perfect when I saw this. I was like, all right, it has the exact thing I need for this card, because I didn't have the stamp set, so I was like, okay, what could I use? Go into pattern. We're using then go into these icons. These are like winter, where it says winter and lucky. I'm using the CM350 or ScanNCut 2. And then just scroll down. Well, you could scroll up. I mean, this is in alphabetical order. Probably been quicker to scroll the other direction, but because it's on page 10. Depending on your model of ScanNCut, it'll be on a different page. Okay, so that's what you're clicking on. You're clicking on the word sweet. Okay, that's what we want. And the width of this is going to be 2.75, and that's what fit for the card. Okay, let's do 2.75. Okay, that's what I'm making. I'm making this right here. See? 2.75. And I need 3 of them. So always do all your work at once, but I do need to spread them apart. I'm going to say 3, but I need them to not be very close together, and there's a reason for that. I need to put them, okay, my paper is only 10. Okay, let's put them this way, because my paper is not very wide, but it's long enough to put 3 like this. I have about, this is 5 inches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this thicker line is 6 inches, and I'm definitely have enough paper to do that. All right, now all we do is say, okay, so we've put three words on our screen. In fact, I'm going to zoom in so you can see that. And tilt my camera up a little bit so you can really see that. Okay, there you go. Now, we're going to say, so we have sweet on there 3 times, and we're going to say, okay. And now, instead of saying cut, it's very important, you're going to say draw. Okay, draw. And then we're going to say start. And there it is, it's drawing. So I will go ahead and zoom out so you can see that. Is that amazing or what? I love this universal pen holder. I can show you some other things I drew with it later. Okay. But now we're back to, okay, zoom in. Now, the Brother ScanNCut does fill patterns as well, and you could color this in, but it uses way too much ink on your markers when it does filling, so I prefer to we're just going to color this sweet in ourselves when we get to that stage. But we're not at that stage yet. Okay, just so you know what's happening, I'm showing you where we're at. This is where we're at. Now I need to, if I were to just cut these out, okay, I need to explain a couple things, then it would just cut along the line, and I wouldn't get this really cool effect with the outline distance. Okay, so my crafty friends have been with me for a long time and I hope you understand what I'm about to do. I'm about to scan in the 3 words, okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and put an outline distance of 0.04 around them. That's what I'm about to do. Okay, so let's just go ahead and do that. We just go right back to the beginning. We're just going to go into the ScanNCut and go right back to the beginning. We're erasing, let me just show you, we're erasing everything that's on the screen. And just say, I'm just going to focus that. It says, okay, to delete all patterns, and you say yes. Okay, so now I'm going to just tighten my camera up I usually don't have to change angles so much, so sorry for the wobbly angles, but you know what? I need to definitely show you all these steps. I don't want you to miss anything. We need to we erased what was on our screen. We're going to go to scan. We're going to say direct cut because we're directly cutting out these images. And we're going to say, where do we want the temporary storage to be? And we want it to be on our machine. So we're selecting this one. Black and white recognition mode is fine because I'm using that Coastal Cabana marker. Speaking of which, remember before you try to cut that you need to take your marker out. And always remember to take your marker out if you're using the universal pen holder. Let's do that right now. To release the marker in your universal pen holder, you're going to lift up, and turn. Okay? And that just, you can actually see that it actually made this very loose now. Okay, I'm going to put the cap right on. Okay, because now we need to put the blade holder in because we're about to cut. But anyway, let's just say start and let it scan, and I'll just go ahead and tell you about the blade depth. We've talked about sharpening our blade. I'm going to go ahead and do that with a little piece of foil while it's scanning. I'm sharpening my blade. It's scanning. I'm using Whisper White cardstock, so I'm going to go ahead and make my blade depth 4. I'm getting everything else ready. First, you got to go all the way to 12. All the way to 12, and then you go dial back to the number. So, but I'm dialing back to 4. All right. So it says it's scanned. So let's see what we have up here on our screen. Crafty friends, I'm focusing in for you. It scanned 3 words. Okay. Let's just say okay. And it did a great job. Now, I told you I was going to do an outline distance. So let's just go ahead and do that. Use our stylus. We're going to say an outline distance of 0.04. That's giving us the white, okay, the white around the Coastal Cabana. So let's say okay. And we can just also take the section that we want, okay? And let's preview that. That keeps us from having to get rid of all those stray bits. Okay, and we're going to focus and say okay. I've loaded the blade holder. You guys know how to do that. We're loading the blade holder, and we're just going to say cut. Okay, so now it's going to cut. We're going to say start. So now what we're doing now is we're cutting out the 3 sentiments, and then we're going to just let them dry while we cut out the matting for our cards. Okay, so let's just say I like the rainbow. And pick the rainbow one. That's this one. So that's what we're going to do next. All right, actually, we'll get the background of these sentiments, and then we'll do the rainbow. Okay, before we do the rainbow backgrounds, we're going to make a little outline of the word sweet with using this paper. Okay, so let's just say okay, and let me just focus in and take this paper out and show you where we're at. Okay. Oh, cancel. Okay, do not unload your mat, by the way, because you know why? We're going to leave everything in place. We have this really cute sentiments, and I'm just going to peel them off my mat, and look how awesome they are. Here, let's put them on a different background. Actually, here, let's put them on the gorgeous grape. Okay, so these are great. We used our pen holder, and what I love about using the Stampin' markers is, Stampin' Right markers, is that they coordinate with all my projects I'm doing. Because I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator after all, so I'm going to show you products that really coordinate well together. And our occasions catalog has many, many suites of products that coordinate well together. So if I can use the right color of marker along with my projects, I mean, we have the best of both worlds here using Brother ScanNCut with Stampin' Up! Products. All right, so I told you, do not take the mat out. In fact, I'm just going to take this piece of paper, and I'm putting it up right on the same spot on the, let me just point that, see? I'm just loading the paper onto the mat. Okay. Now over here, back on the screen, we have our 3 sentiments. You might know what I'm about to do because I've done this in other tutorials. I'm about to make an outline for this sentiment. So I'm about to make an extra border, or it's called like an offset line, to go around the word sweet. And we're going to cut that also. So, but we just can't cut it now, because if we cut it now, it's going to be the exact same size as the one we just cut. We need it to be bigger. So we're going to go here to the editing mode. I'm sorry, we're not going to editing mode. We're just going to hit back, and we're going right here to this mode. We're hitting back, and we're going right here to where it says this outline distance, okay? We don't need to be in editing mode. We're just back at the home screen. Outline distance 0.04, let's go up. not 0.08, we're going up to 0.12. So in other words, 2 settings above where you were makes this effect here, okay? 2 settings above. So let's say okay, and we say okay again, and now we're gonna cut. Now it's because I'm using designer series paper, I need to lower my blade depth to a 3. Okay, let me just focus. There, 3 for designer series paper by Stampin' Up. All paper has its own weights. It's good to do test cuts depending on the materials you're using for this tutorial. You know, you could be following along with any of your materials that you have. And I'm just gonna go ahead and say cut. And we're gonna cut 3 little borders, and then I'm about to cut the matting, and I already have all the embellishments cut out. So then we can just, you know, quickly assemble our cards, because I've done other tutorials on how to cut out these pattern papers, and you can check those out because they will be linked in the description. And I like to, when I'm embellishing cards, like to have 3 embellishments on each card. Okay, now we can remove our designer series paper, and we can remove our embellishments, and they're okay, so we don't have to worry about. Okay, so here's what we have so far, but we don't attach them yet because we are going to be doing some coloring. But there they are. Super awesome! That's what you just cut out. That's what you just did. So I hope you're following along with your own marker if you have a universal pen holder, or, you know, you can use the drawing tool for this. There are drawing pens that came with many of your ScanNCuts, and you can do what I said and just say draw instead of cut. But the only problem is you won't have like I like the universal pen holder because I can use my Stampin' markers, which are coordinating markers with the suite I'm using. All right, let's now do the next step, which is going to be cutting out the matting. So I'm going home, I'm saying okay. I'm slapping on a piece of designer series paper called How Sweet It Is. I'm just putting it on the mat. The mat's already sticky. I'm just gonna go right to pattern and make rectangles. Okay, we're making rectangles. This is our review. We are going to make the rectangles 5 1/4 inch wide, and let's see, 5.25, because that's a basic matting. That's what I always make my matting. And then we're going to make it, and let's check this button so that it stays. This button will show that it's not going to be in proportion, the width and height. So we're going to click this button, and we're going to make the height 4 inches. Say 4 inches. I'm going to go ahead and make 4, even though I only need 3. I make 4 for good measure because I'm always making cards, so I'll have 1 extra. Okay, I'm going to just say 4. I'm going to say okay. I'm going to say cut. I'm going to say cut. And then that's pretty much it. The only thing I'm doing, I'm pushing the machine away to get ready for the next step. You know what to do, folks. You've seen it. I'm going to be pressing unload on this button here, and that's it. So I'm unloading the mat. Remember, I'm using a blade depth of 3. Okay, so I'm clearing some space. I'm turning my camera, and we're going to assemble our super cute little cards using what we've just cut out. So here are some embellishments. Okay, so I have embellishments, and just to review, in case you didn't see the tutorial where I cut out pattern paper using the Brother ScanNCut, I cut out these, and I was talking about the outline distance of 0.04 for those. And when I cut out all these embellishments that we're going to be decorating with, I used an outline distance of 0.08. Okay, so you know how to scan in pattern paper. If you don't, just please use the link in my description. You know, I don't want to do the same thing over and over in every tutorial. If you really need me to do everything over and over, and my students need that, then that's fine too. Okay, so here we are. We just got them. I just peeled the designer series paper off, and we have our four mattings for our cards. And I told you I already made the card bases. So we're just going to place those down. I have gorgeous grape. I have granny apple green. I basically just have card bases that coordinate with the suite I'm using. So how sweet it is, that's all. And I'm just going to adhere them. I have this advanced tape glider I like to use, but you know, use whatever adhesives you're comfortable with. I mean, really, it doesn't matter, guys. You have to use the products that you're comfortable with. We do sell adhesive at Stampin' Up called Snail, but this stuff, as much as I use adhesive, I need these many yards of adhesive all at one time because I go through it. I mean, I actually go through a roll of this like every day, at least a roll of this. It's crazy. Okay, and I'm always going into craft stores and buying it like with a coupon or waiting till it goes on sale on Amazon or somewhere. Okay, got some stickiness and making the next mat. Okay. All right, so, I mean, that's good enough for our purposes of this tutorial, right? Our purposes are to just make these sweet cards. So now we're just I'm gonna show you about the coloring. So I'm gonna put this down to protect my table, and I'm gonna throw these on here. So I'm showing you what we're doing. I'm taking a coordinating color. I'm taking Pineapple Punch, and I'm just gonna color them. That's it. You could use the Brother ScanNCut, like I said. You can use the Brother ScanNCut to fill in to use a fill and fill in the pattern, but the problem is it will like go over it and over it, and it'll fill it in, and it'll actually run in, the colors will run into each other. I've already tried it. Then the paper gets really soggy, and then the paper sort of falls apart, and then the Coastal Cabana ends up going into Pineapple Punch. This is what I'm using right now. I'm using Pineapple Punch, and it's a coordinating color with Coastal Cabana. And then the colors ran into each other. So basically I gave up using the Brother ScanNCut to fill in the pattern with. But you could, if you probably tweaked it with the software, but I don't always like to go on the computer and use the software. I don't have time for that all the time. So, if I have to use the software, I will, but I love when I can use the standalone machine. So you see, I'm just using a marker. Now you wouldn't use blends. When you're using Stampin' Right markers, you keep on coloring with markers. You don't use alcohol blends with Stampin' markers because the colors would run into each other. But when you use markers with markers, you can see that the colors don't really bleed into each other. And I also let it dry a little before I did this. Okay, and I think since I've only just attached 2 fronts of the cards, then this is all we need to be colored right away. Okay, so now we have that. So now let's just take our dimensionals. I'm using the little, actually these are just Stampin' dimensionals, but I probably can use the bigger ones. I get these with all my paper pumpkin kits. I buy them also, but I'm saying they always come with my kits like of supplies, and I always have extra. So right now I'm just adhering a couple dimensionals to those little things we created, these little offset lines, these borders. Okay, just stuck together. So all we're doing is that. Remember, the top layer had an outline distance of 0.04, and the bottom one had an outline distance of 0.12, and this will all be in the description of this video. Super cute so far. Let's take the backings off these dimensionals and go ahead and add this. And then we'll go ahead and we'll finish decorating a card or two so you can see how we've gone full circle. All right, and I love this because, like I said, I didn't get the stamp set. I wanted something to say sweet on it, and I was like, okay, this is perfect, because sweet is one of the built-in patterns inside the Brother ScanNCut. Okay, now taking some more dimensionals. I'm putting some more on this sentiment. Now, before you adhere it down, you always take your embellishments and you see where they're going to go. So let's say if we want to use this as an embellishment, that should go in a darker, this is very light, so it should go in maybe a darker part of the, let's not use that on this one. It's a little too light for the background, so let's take a cupcake instead, and that looks good. Put the cupcake there. We have a piece of candy. Okay, we have a lollipop. There's a lot, but so you put those down first. Don't attach them yet, just to see where the sweet will go, and then you know where you are not getting in the way. So there, the sweet can go there. Let's attach the other embellishments. We still need to make our Lollipop 3D using some stickers I have that are called like bottle cap stickers. Okay, and so we got the cupcake. I love these cupcakes because then inside you could write happy birthday, but I chose not to. I'm giving these to friends. I chose not to put happy birthday inside them. I chose to put other sentiments, which I'll show you. So I'm using my bottle cap stickers. Okay, I'm peeling those off. See, they're like 3D. They make everything 3D. They make the lollipop look delicious. And you just put that on your lollipop. I've shown also how to make magnets and stickers and things in this on my YouTube channel. So if you're new here, please be sure to check out all the really, really cool things you can do with the Brother ScanNCut. All right, so there's the back, and now I need a mini dimensional. See, for the handle of the lollipop, I need a mini dimensional. Okay, so now, because you don't want the bottom of the lollipop flopping around. I like to always embellish with at least 3 things on my cards. This one could actually use a little gummy bear too. And I have like a whole bag of things that I cut out using the Brother ScanNCut. So, I mean, this was only from the first pack. I'm only on the second pack of paper. Here's a little gummy bear. Reminds me of the gummy bear song. Okay, here's a gummy bear. He looks cute, so we'll put him right there. Let me focus that. Awesome, and I'm ready for the next card because I have a piece of candy. So let's put the little mini dimensional behind the gummy bear. And now we have 2 cards. And in this card, I told you I'd show you what I have inside. So I've already stamped some sentiments. I just adore you. So it says sweet, and this is sweet that we just made. And then it says, I just adore you. And again, I just can't get enough of our Stampin' Up! Products from this Occasions catalog. This is a really, really cool stamp set. And it's called Incredible Like You. And I've shown how to cut out these sentiments from this stamp set in one of my videos. So this is not the first time I've shown this stamp set. All right, good. I think we're done. We got a whole card made. And now we have this card. Okay, we're ready. We just lay everything out. Remember I said lay everything out. Now let's try this now. I really want to use this, so let's see if this will work. Remember I said you have to have it on a contrasting part, so it's so light that it needed to be on a dark part, and that works, I think. You know, or over here. I think it works better over there. You just can't put like this over the yellow line because you can't really see it. So I'm going to put sweet up there this time, and there's too much with that. So let's I always like having a cupcake in there, you know. So here, something like that this time. So we'll just get that. I just lay out cards as I go. So we're going to put the mini dimensional down on the bottom and top, and I'll put a big one. I'll put a big one in the middle because this is a long item, so I definitely want to put a few dimensionals on it. I don't want, like, you put things in envelopes and you don't want things peeling up, you know. You don't want somebody pulling something out of an envelope and it falling off the card. We are not going to be shabby. We are going to be professional crafters because we have a Brother ScanNCut. So that makes us professional. We can do everything professionally because we can make it so accurate. So awesome. Okay, let's there. And then we'll put the sweet and the dimensional. Stampin' Dimensionals are great. They're one of the products I'll link to. Voila! Using the Brother ScanNCut to create a sweet card using the How Sweet It Is Designer Series paper by Stampin' Up. So, thank you for watching. I'll show you one more thing I made with the universal pen holder that I haven't shown you before because I just made them. I'm going to make signs, and I'm still going to color these in. But I just wanted to show you that since I love like blues and teals and greens, I'm making some signs for my workshops and tables for craft fairs, like spring craft fairs, and my tables, and I'm going to color in Paper Chef. So I drew this using the universal pen holder and my Stampin' Right markers, and every marker has a thick side and a thin side. So I used the thick side for this one, and then I didn't really like it because there wasn't enough room to color, and then I used the thin side. Okay. Enough for now. I hope your brains are not too full, and I hope you were able to follow along. And please feel free to comment in the description below and to check out the rest of my Brother ScanNCut tutorials. Happy crafting. This is the Paper Chef.